Hey, this is a podcast. No, wait, it's a comedy podcast. Well, we tried to make it a comedy podcast, and it's not meant to offend anyone. So don't get offended, okay? And wait, there's something else. Oh, yeah, yeah. Listener discretion is advised.
Audiomatic presents Our Last Week.
Hi, Kunal.
Hi, Paul.
Now, you and I were talking about this. I
Hmm.
have to travel every weekend to do shows, and you
Yeah.
are currently rehearsing for something, and you were saying that for the first time, you are in the city you live in and going to almost like an office and coming home
Yeah.
and working in the city you live in. You're not flying around every weekend. How does that feel?
It feels great. It's so good. It's very close to my house, so I just drive there in the morning. I'm back in the evening by 5:30. It feels like a job,
Yeah.
it's like how I would have imagined my life, or if I was just doing a 9 to 5. And it feels weird, but somehow stable. Like, what you're like, okay, I have to wake up and I have to go, and then I'll be back in the evening.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's for dinner? It's like, it's a very it's a it's a very different sort of existence for
But
me.
you realize that, and I obviously don't have that existence because, I work a lot on the weekends. And during the week, I'm just sitting at home, just doing nonsense. And then I work, in different cities around the world on the weekends. And something like this to me, I think, would be quite blissful, And I know a lot of our listeners have normal jobs. So they will listen to us and say, what are these guys saying? We want to break out and do something, do what they're doing, do a podcast or do comedy. But to
Don't.
us, the golden rainbow is our listeners. They wake up in the
Yeah.
morning, they go to a place. How nice, where they have a
Yeah.
coffee. They know what the next months of their life looks like. They can plan vacations. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think that you never know the pitfalls till you're in it, right? Like, the grass is greener, all of that. So, I mean, there are great things about not working on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and there are great things about that. There are great things. Oh, my time is my own. Or
Yeah.
you think so, like, oh, I can do anything. Like, any night is Saturday for us. Like, it's like that kind of, but it isn't, like, especially like if you have family, and if you have, you fall into the same sort of patterns, and weekend is still a weekend, and it's all of that. So yeah, so I think, I mean, apart from the work itself, I think, I mean, I'm still going there and rehearsing for something. So I'm still doing something that's within the field that I know a little bit of. But if I was going and doing a normal sort of, I don't know, like a desk job, I don't know how I'd feel. I mean, and if I didn't like it, if I liked the desk job, that's fine. But if I didn't like it, maybe I'd still want to look outside, and I'd want that randomness.
Yeah, but there's a very fine line in freelance between saying, I don't work Mondays and I don't have any work at all. That line is very thin. And I guess the reason all of us are so motivated in freelance is you don't want to be that guy who's been sitting at home for 2 years.
Yeah,
Like with a large swath of unemployment. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's really, and I think one of the things that the reduced money in freelance has done. Earlier, I think maybe if you're a freelancer and you did one thing, it paid very well. You could do nothing for 6 months, you just get fat and old. But I think one of the things that reduced money in freelance has done is it keeps you on your toes. That's why I think producers around the world, Netflix down, like to cheat artists because they keep us on their toes. They know that if we give any of these people a big paycheck, they'll never work again.
Basically, it's day labor.
Day labor. Keep us not starved, but on the edge of starvation, but with the possibility of being a millionaire. See, that's the thing about
Yeah,
the arts. Is
yeah,
it's like Bombay in many ways. It's like one more highway and we're done.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that this kind of living on the edge, on the fringes of survival. It's like you don't know whether it's going to be, you know, uh, Eid or Rosa, as they say.
Yeah. Freelancers are such good hustlers, like that is why I say a great actor, people say, why are so many actors, so bowing before politicians? Why don't actors say things against the government, or, why don't more artists stand up?
Hmm.
Because the powers that be keep all artists just on the edge of like poverty, like just,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
they give them a lot of money, but they also keep them quite poor. so
Yeah.
so the artist never knows, like, if I piss off the government, this can go overnight.
Yeah. It's the threat of poverty. It's
Yeah,
not the poverty. I mean, it's the fear, right? Like, it's the fear that everything can be taken away from you.
correct.
That's what keeps it, yeah.
Which the mid-level coder at Cognizant does not have that fear. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
his boss is not coming and saying, this is your bonus, we've paid you every year.
Hmm.
If you say one thing about the government, we may take away your last 6 years' bonuses. They don't say that to him, right? First of all, he's already spent those bonuses, so he doesn't have the money.
Hmm.
But he doesn't have that worry. Whereas with us,
Because nobody cares what he says, really. That's the only difference. Because his opinion doesn't matter, na? And like nobody, like the public at large are not keen to know what he has to say or she has to say. Whereas in the case of a celebrity, of course, everybody wants to know.
but isn't that much nicer? Like, don't you, after being famous for so long, want to get to a place where the press are like, Kunal Roy Kapoor, we don't give a shit what you have to say. And won't you be relieved?
No, they don't currently, and that's a good thing. But
But they do though. They do though. Like, if you went to a thing, say you are in your house right now, you're not at a thing. But if you were at a thing, people would ask you. People would not go up to the junior developer at Cognizant. Say you're at a film premiere, they'd go to you.
sure,
Say,
sure.
what do you think of this mandir, or what do you think of the budget? Or they'll ask you.
Hmm.
At that, let's say you look at that Cognizant guy in the audience and think, the Cognizant guy is probably, I don't know why I'm picking Cognizant. He's probably a listener of our last week. You're like, I want to switch places with you, man.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're saying is, if any of our listeners want to take over from us and want to give us their day jobs, I'd be up for it.
The thing is that you figure that in the grand scheme of things, your opinion, does it count for anything?
It doesn't. That's what we realized after all these years. It doesn't really.
Yeah.
So you might
It
as
doesn't
well
matter, right?
you might as well just be it, because everyone has an opinion now.
No, you might as well. I mean, I'm not saying toe the line, but you might as well not say anything, right?
Yeah, and then if we're not saying anything as artists, then we might as well have a monthly income.
But then are you like but then people saying that your duty as an artist or but is it your duty as an artist? Like, what if you're a clown, or what if you're like say I'm pretty much a clown,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
whatever.
But whose duty are you fulfilling? Like who will you let down if you did not do your clowning on the 15th of February? It's like that. Like, sometimes I think, like, for example, in my case, there's a financial and legal cost to it. Because let's say I take someone's money, I have a show tomorrow, and I don't show up. Then I've cheated them. It's different.
Hmm.
But as long as you're not cheating them, as long as which people, artists have done also, and very successfully. If you are not cheating them, then you have no other duty.
No.
Right? Like, I'm saying, say tomorrow you're in a theatrical production and you tell yourself, I don't want to do it. Maybe the producer and director will say, but you have a duty to your audience. But do you really? Like, say your audience shows up and they're like, today, instead of Kunal Roy Kapoor in Shakespeare, we are going to watch 3 penguins dancing. The audience will be fine.
Yeah. I mean, they'll complain a little while, but then they'll say that middle penguin was the best.
Correct. So that, like, what duty? Like that,
Yeah.
it was filled. It was filled. The duty was filled.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up conundrum. We didn't discuss this, but I want to discuss it with you, Kunal. which is, how do you feel about, like, I think that we've talked about this a little on the podcast earlier. I think nowadays it has to be something really important for you to make a phone call. One of the most annoying things for me is when somebody calls me for something that's a WhatsApp. Someone's like, "Hey guys, listen, just checking. The 10th dinner, can we push it to the 17th?" That's a WhatsApp. That's not a call.
It's not a full call.
That's not a full call. And I think that it's time for us to tell the caller, this shouldn't have been a call. I'm really sorry.
Why didn't you just message me?
Yeah, this should have been a message. I feel like we're not letting the other person know, and they're taking a lot more chances.
It's like when people would write letters when it could have been a phone call.
Yeah.
Like if the letter just says, "Hi, how are you? Let's meet at 9
Yeah.
on Friday. Okay, bye."
Yeah.
Now, if you wrote a letter
Yeah.
when there was a phone call
Yeah.
and said, "Why did you write me a letter? I had to, I had to open it, then I had to read it, then I had to throw it away." You could have just called me. You could have just
Yeah.
called me and told me. I think it's the same now with the message. Why did you call me? You could have just messaged me.
See, that's the thing. Like Victorian era correspondence, right? Earlier 20th century, when you sat down in your house and your butler or servant or whatever brought you all your correspondence. Like I always worry about that era, 1910, 1915, because you got a pile of letters. And there's so much information you don't have till you open the letter. It could be anything from the Titanic has sunk and some family members have died, to you're bankrupt, you invested in the Grand Railroads and it's all the investment is wasted, to, "Hey Papa, I'm coming home," and that's from 4 months ago. Your son has sailed on a ship and he might show up at your doorstep. Like there's no control over the time of the letter. So you're getting information from yesterday and you're getting information from 6 years ago. I find that quite fascinating. The correspondence that hits you every day in Victorian times, the gravity of it could be tiny or huge. It could be as little as, "Can you please make sure that your hedge is cut? I'm tired of telling your gardener." To, all your crops in Africa have burned down and your investments are ruined. Please come immediately. And that letter was written 4 months ago. So
And it'll now take you 6 months to get
6
there.
months to get. So I always feel like
I'm coming. Send it.
that'll
Send it
take
now.
another 4 months, because it'll
To
go
get
to
there.
India. There'll be a guy, he'll get off an elephant, he'll give it to a runner who'll run across a whole country, hopefully not be eaten by tigers, and then give that letter. So I don't know. I just think that now it reaches the other person so quickly that time has become quite specific.
I think that firstly at that time there must have been a great fear of the letters themselves, right? I mean, there'd be a lot of excitement, but there'd
Yes.
also be fear. So when you sit down at the table and you're going through your mail, there'd be a lot of fear in
Yeah, of course.
what is the mail that I'm getting. Like, what is the message? You don't know, like, there's a government thing, some income tax thing, there's
Anything.
you don't know. It could be a business related, family related. So the fear, and I'm sure that there's a clinical term also for a fear of letters. There must be, there has to be.
There must be, and also some that, like there's got to be a letter saying arriving Thursday, from 10 months ago.
Yeah.
And Thursday was 2 days ago, and you've just got the
Yeah.
letter. And you think to yourself, that guy didn't come on Thursday. What happened to him? And like, but it's from 10 months ago, the original letter. So you don't even know like where you should look for him. So the whole, the concept of time was very confusing, I think.
It was very different, the concept of time, like just, how it would stretch out over But I think that one thing that can be done is that now, it is one way to go, is that if we had all our correspondence, our emails and messages printed out and kept on our table.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one way to go back to that. Like, say, all your WhatsApp messages you don't read on your phone.
Yeah.
A printout of it comes and lies on your desk.
Yeah.
And then you have to then you have to rummage through it,
Yeah.
and you have to read each WhatsApp message as a printout.
Yeah. Yeah. And then respond by hand.
Respond by hand.
3
and then,
p.m. is
you know,
fine.
Yeah. That's one way
Or
to
someone
sort
sends you 2 photos of 2 checks saying this one or this one. And you just write back this one. And then you tell your
Yeah.
guy, suno, wo photo attach karo. Or fir bolo
Yeah.
this one.
This one bolo. But I did hear of someone who did have all their, because they were just not comfortable with the computer and reading it on the computer.
Yes.
You know, their messages and all. So there was a person who had all their mail printed out and kept.
Excellent.
But there was a lot of bump also, you know, Zomato offers, all of that, because there'd be like 40,000 printouts of that, and then you'd have to get like one or two other things.
So he would literally have junk mail. Like not junk email, but junk mail.
Yeah, mail, it would be physicalized.
क्या प्रिंट आउट किया फिर क्या प्रिंट आउट वायग्रा फेंको इसको
Yeah.
ये वाला लिखा लो जो दिखा होल फैमिली डेड वो वाला दिखाओ मुझे Kunal,
Yes.
went to a concert this weekend, the Lollapalooza concert in Bombay.
Lola.
Lola.
Lollapalooza is something that happens in Bihar.
Lollapalooza. That's the concert I should have been in. Lollapalooza.
That's Lalupalooza.
Lollapalooza I should definitely attend. I think that
Yeah.
involves some sort of cow fodder corruption, I think.
Correct. The bands are very different over there.
Slightly different band, yeah. Slightly more thefty. Question: the main band, Sting, right? There's the main guy there, Sting, famous. Now he sung a lot of songs everybody knew. There was a band
Yeah.
called Keen and a band called One Republic. People knew their songs. But say the bands that were playing at 5 o'clock, 4:30, nobody knew them, right? They were just playing in a massive field. And people just walking around trying to understand what's going on, this, that. And the band kept saying, you know our songs, come on, sing along with us, come on, you know us. And I've heard this, at unknown Indian bands also at music festivals saying, guys, we're going to play our hit, Rudraksh. Everyone sing along. And they're a totally unknown band. No one knows the song. And then I feel bad because the lead singer puts the mic up, hoping to get the crowd to sing in unison. And it's not Summer of 69. Not everybody knows it, so there isn't any unison, thing coming back. And I think to myself, how does the band get over the embarrassment? It's quite embarrassing.
Yeah, it is, I guess. I mean, it would be a lot like us going to one of these things and, shouting out to our listeners. It would be a lot like that. We have listeners around the world. I'm sure these bands have a lot of fans that are scattered over the country and over the world.
Yeah.
But they all haven't congregated at the same time and place. This, it's like us. Like, say we have a whatever.
Good
thousands
evening,
of listeners.
Sydney. Good evening, Sydney.
You know this part of our conversation, so it's like if we were to do something like that,
Yeah.
and shout out into a crowd of like 10,000 people or whatever it is, maybe 5 people would know.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
don't think the others would really. But I think with a band, I see a lot of people when they're going for like these things, and I think this is what happens. Like, it's a khichdi of bands, and I think that's how they kind of package this thing, is that you'll know one or two, you won't know like most of them. But then then before you're buying the tickets, so then people end up doing a little research. Like, I did a little research on the band. Like, there was a band called Jungle, right? And they've got a few dance hits, that have been quite popular. And they're a nice band, a groovy band, all of that. But I didn't know of the band. So someone said, yeah, so Jungle will be playing before. I said, what is Jungle? And I said, then I'll do a little research.
Yeah, easy nowadays.
So I think a lot of people do a little research before, saying, okay, who are these? Like, what am I listening to? What am I going to be standing there for? And it's good. It's fun. It's like I was into this thing. It was good. But there are some when you do the research and you get scared also.
Yeah, they're like, I hope they don't play it. Yeah. But also, I like when bands that don't have a following and they've been touring for a number of years, they get angry at the audience. I like that also. I like a little bit of confrontation. Because when Keen came on, they said, we're very polite. We're a small band from East Sussex. and we're just so happy that we have an audience here. Thank you for knowing our songs, right? And I thought, what if there was a band who was unhappy, and the audience did not know all the songs. So uh, Keen said, if you know our songs, please sing along. Some people sung along. They have one song that everyone knows. Somewhere only we know that one song that everybody knows. And people sung along, but the other songs they don't know, so they couldn't sing along. But he did that mic thing. He pointed to the crowd, saying when the chorus came, typically chorus came, and he pointed to the crowd. Obviously, it's not "Sweet Child of Mine." It's not "Everything You Do, I Do It For You." Like, it's not a song. It's not "Piano Man." It's not a song everyone knows. So do it to the crowd, and the crowd went, "Ah, yeah, 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 yeah." Like, they don't know what to do. They don't know the fucking song. And he took the mic saying, "It's never mind, never mind. I guess it'll take a few more trips to come back to India." So he was quite apologetic. But what if there was a band singer who was like, "You bastards, you couldn't have done more homework, you assholes." Like, what if he got angry? That's what I think also sometimes.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of that JPEG mafia. There was a lot of anger there. There was a
Okay.
JPEG something. So a little bit. I mean, I couldn't judge too much, but I know that there was a lot of anger in the performance, and I don't know whether it was anger at the crowd
Yeah,
or it was anger at them not knowing his songs, or whether he's just an angry sort of performer. I think there's a certain anger, but I like that. I like conflict. I like it when
I like
like
conflict.
people fight. I like we've discussed this before, like when, especially when band members start fighting with the crowd,
Yeah, yeah. Like sometimes when we do the podcast, it hurts because we're like, we're doing this nearly 10 years. Point is, by now you think there's a large accumulation, but it's the same group of people. We've all grown up together over the years.
Yeah.
And so now it hurts because the audience also wants us to do something different. We want the audience to do something different. So now it's like a marriage, it's like a long marriage where we're just bitter.
That happens also in a relationship with an artist. Or with any performer.
Yeah.
Is that you like the person, you like the artist, then you start hating the artist. Like,
Yeah.
why do I like them? They're doing the same thing. I
Yeah.
don't want to like them anymore. And it becomes like a relationship. How did I like these people, or how did I like this woman or this guy? And it's like, oh God, I'm so over that phase. Like, it's like. And I think that's bound to happen to our listeners as well, right? Like,
And us. Yeah, absolutely.
and us, yeah. Like, they'll like us for a while. I mean, at different times, different people, and then they'll hate us. Hate,
I'll tell you a podcast not to listen to. I'll tell you.
Don't listen to these guys.
Yeah.
I used to like them, but they just went downhill. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They're same shit. Like, it'll be.
Every week they come and talk about their last week. Arey, that's the name of the
Yeah.
podcast. What else can we do? Kunal, last conundrum, very quick conundrum.
Yes.
Friend sent this in, had a question. He said, I wanted to hold the door open for my boss. She was staying at a 5-star hotel, but it was a revolving door. So rather than try to hold the door open, I got into that little area that was already revolving. Because it's circular, it's cut in 4 parts. So I got into a little, revolving wedge. And I just kept moving with her. So what was supposed to be chivalry and respectful ended up being inappropriate. Because I was just ended up being very close to her when I didn't want to be. Is there any way to hold the door open in a revolving door?
No, if you hold the door open, then you're stopping the door, basically.
You need a door that's not moving.
Yeah. If you're holding a revolving door, means you're stopping someone's entry.
Yeah. Is there any way in a revolving door to be chivalrous? Like, because it's revolving. So I guess you can't even tell the other person, you carry on, I'll come after you. There's a split second decision.
There's a certain fear that and trepidation that you always approach a revolving door with.
Yeah.
And I think that a revolving door is one where if you go first, it's
Yeah.
not looked at as you're being rude, because you are like the guinea pig for the revolving door.
Yeah.
And when you make it out to the other side, you can do a gentle nod to the person who's about to enter, saying
Safe. It's safe. So, you're saying the only way to be chivalrous is to go ahead, revolve,
Go ahead, revolve.
come out on the other side, and wait for the other person to revolve.
Yeah.
See, he made
So
a mistake. He wasn't thinking. He got into the revolving door, thinking, I'll leave the door open. Then he got jacked. He's like, shit, this is a revolving door. Then he started revolving with her in very close proximity. And then they both got spit out. And he had no chance to show that he's a gentleman and he was just helping her revolve. But you've answered it, I think. What you're saying is you revolve first.
You should
You
revolve
cross
first.
the river and then you let her revolve, saying it's all
Yeah.
fine.
Because there's always that little is my arm going to be
Stuck.
stuck
Yeah.
in this thing?
Yeah. See, this is why people should listen to this podcast. Groundbreaking insight.
Revolving doors it's the opposite of what a static door
What a
is.
door
the
is.
rules are all it's the rules are all inversed.
Yeah, anyone can do a static door, but how many can do a revolving?
A revolving door. So revolving door etiquette is a different thing.
Yeah. Some are not born for it, some are not ready.
No, some are not cut out.
This has been our last week, Kunal.
It has.
And we should tell our listeners, if you do live in Bombay, listeners, and you want to go and see Kunal live, he's going to be in a play
Yes.
from the 15th of February.
Yes, it's on from the 15th to the 18th at the NCPA Experimental. So do come and watch.
Please go and watch him. I plan to go and watch him. NCPA has no revolving doors. Just
No.
for our listeners. Yeah, so you won't get stuck. If you go with your boss, she won't get stuck either. And watch the play, and even if you don't watch the play, send us conundrums at ourlastweek@audiomatic.in.
That's the place.
Yeah. And very soon we'll be doing a listener conundrum, hopefully live next week together, Kunal.
Yes, most definitely. And we will be answering your conundrums. So if you do have any, please do send them in.
Done.
You were listening to Our Last Week, produced by Akanksha Kadam and Avdoot Khanolkar, hosted by Anubhav Pal and Kunal Roy Kapoor.